We're at the point in the cabin build where we need to get our hoist going to raise these upper logs up. Even at 6'6", Kevin's not quite tall enough now, so we need to see these two uprights out there in front of us. We've working on. We need to pull them up. What'll happen is that'll raise our chain up about 18 feet in the air so that we can use it to pull logs up.
May have to go up the ladder to do it, Mark. We don't know. This whole apparatus is about getting our chains up there in the air. You can hardly see them in the picture, but there's chains through the top of those upright logs, and so we're going to be able to lift up higher as we get up near those big beams up on top. And we don't really need it that high yet, but we're practicing for when we need to have them way up there. Fortunately, did I tell you one of Mark's past jobs was a lineman, climbing up ladders and working, so we're using his skills to the max here. Remember that log that was laying right here? We used this apparatus with the pulley rope on that end and the electric winch on this end and pulled that thing right up in the air. Now I'm going to go put a pot roast on, and these guys are going to whittle out that log.
Is that harder than what it looks like?
Oh, that's
Mark must have just figured drilling that last hole would be easier with the bit and brace, but I see that Kevin's getting involved here. He's saying, start that generator up. I'm going to drill. Well, you see the size of the drill he's drilling with up there too. You wouldn't want to be quite running that down with the bit and brace, but now here's for the guys that were fighting that big 1-inch drill without a reverse early in our projects. I just want you to watch here how Kevin, we get a couple guys lining him up here now so we get it up, going up and down straight. That's what Mark's trying to do, to get it straight. You're up on a ladder and all leaned over. It's really hard to figure out what's straight to the world, but all right, let's drill. I think my Swedish friend Mark now wants 2 points of reference. He's going to do one axis and Jim will line up the other. I mean, this is turning into a Swedish-built cabin now. Things are getting pretty tight up there. Sorry about that, guys, but this 1/2-inch reversible drill, even with that big drill bit on there, look how easy Kevin drills down through, pulls it back up, drops it down again. No problem.
You dumped a little oil down the hole, didn't you?
I did, just to make sure we had a good supply down there.
We've been taking notes all along here as we do these processes. This one particular pin stock I have here is big enough that you really got to drive it down through even with our biggest bit. So We put some oil down the hole in here. I'm taking the grinder and I'm just kind of shining it up a little bit just to make things a little bit easier for the pile driver.
On the bar.
I think I did it
You know, second time around is so much nicer. Okay.
Okay. You ready, buddy?
Where's my hard hat? No, this is fine. It's just that I'm on my head on it. Oh, we might have to get the big kahuna up here for this.
I think my man needs a break, but I'll let him get it down about an inch from the top. Then I'll jump in and say, I'll finish.
See, once you get the speed up, it goes pretty good.
Now he's saying once he gets the speed up, he's going okay, so I hate to step in now. He's got momentum. I think he's tired.
It's been a while.
You know, Mark, back in the day, you wouldn't ever even slow down.
Yeah, back in the day, 30 years ago.
Ready to move into a new chapter on the cabin build. Got the walls pretty much up, just got a few long ones to head out. They'll head out over the porch. It's October the 10th, 65 degrees, feels like 75 with the sun shining down, but we've had just the whole time we've had just really pleasant building weather. Pretty high winds. Otherwise, the different crews, this is like Team B back here behind me now. We just had a cherry pie break, and I told them to hang on while I wanted to do a little filming and catch up on our progress. So I'll show you around here what we're doing and where we're going. The way I've got it laid out, this is going to be a big, I got big glass double doors. Big commercial doors. They're even 84 inches high instead of 80, but we'll be able to make it work in there. And all these walls have big metal pins that were driven in to keep them nice and rock solid as you don't have those pieces in there. And then that's the one across the top, that's about the top of the doorway. And you can see the window on the other side. That log laying across there, that was just put in there for integrity, but when the building is done, that'll be taken out, and then there'll be windows in that whole space in there. Up on top up there, that's how these logs here were 18.5 foot long that we put up there. Now the next ones that go up are going to be about 24 and 25 foot, and they're going to extend out to the left, and that's where the overhanging porch will be out there. That's where we have all these chains up on top, because they're heavy. They got to go pretty high in the air, but with the pulleys and chains going up, they've been going up really good. See, we're about the limit of our step ladders, even getting up there to work. So, and then you can see it or not, you see that chalk line across there. They've got the laser level, and we've plotted it all out. So we're pretty level all the way around. This last log going on, that's where we got to verify that we're got that really flat when we're all done. Not quite sure yet just how I'm going to finalize that, make sure it is straight, whether I put a shim in or I take the saw and shave off the logs at a certain level. But it's up there, and the floor now is, or that top log, it'll be about 7 feet high from floor to the top of the top beam when we're all done. It's just what I was after. One reason I wanted that, because the way it's set up, we'd be able to sit here in a chair. Even you can stand up with this cabin and you look out the window and see what's going on. And the original cabin, it's so low in there that you got to sit down and look out the window. So that was just kind of part of the design to this thing sits out 3 feet in the air. It gives a better view yet looking out. So things are coming along fine. We've been employing my solar-powered boulder lifter to pulling some of these logs around. You know, for the most part, even though we've just pulled them and yanked them, and with big, strong guys like Mark and Kevin out there, they just grab it and push it up into place. But trying to save our backs, so using that. Here's another view of our crisscross chain system that we can hang that rope hoist on, and no trouble with that rope hoist pulling up one end of those logs. And so you do that one end and maybe put the chain hoist on the other, or the the little electric. But we've had no trouble. But now we're starting to up the ante because we've got some bigger logs that got to go a little higher. But I think with the setup here, we can pull these east-west logs up, get them on, and roll them across to where it goes over here. All that sawing I did last winter, I'm glad I did, because we were able to lay this nice floor in while we were at it, and we got a place to work on. And everybody's been really impressed about how nice that floor looks, and we haven't even touched it. That's just the way it was rough sawn with that Alaskan sawmill. I had several drills along, but this is the one that turned out to be the nice one for using that big bit on. And I had a bigger one, though, that, well, I don't know if the switch went bad or what. We only got a few holes in it. Had to lay that aside, but the nice thing about this one is it's got plenty of power to drill with that big bit, and it's got a reverse, so you can get it back out of the wood. That big one, just to say the boys in that first crew, bit of a challenge pulling that back up.
Many are curious about who are these guys, so here we go. First guy to arrive was Michael. He actually lives in Idaho. And then Tom came from South Carolina with some big stakes. He was the second to arrive. And then it wasn't very long at all, and Frank pulled in from New York. And then the next one to come was Alan from around the Duluth area. And we jumped right into getting a lot of work done. And then Jamie came in from New York about that same time. He came through by way of Canada. And then this is our original Kevin from the other Kevin videos. This is the original Kevin. And this is Scott, who was up at the cabin as a young boy and came back for deer hunting later, so he's been around a lot. This is my sister Paula. She drove up from Illinois with Scott. Then Wiley, he stopped in. He's from the North Shore. He couldn't stay too long. He had to get back to another job site. And this is cabin partner Jim. You've all been wondering about cabin partner Jim. Bad knee and all, he's there. And then my old friend Mark. And Mark will show up in a lot of old-time videos from the years past he was there. And finally, Big Kevin came in. All 6 foot 6 of him, 285 pounds to help. Kevin had driven all the way from New Jersey to help on the cabin. We put his muscle to good use.